Your Cleveland tin project is the gift that keeps giving. You've announced today that the review of a historical hole has added new mineralisation, which will feed into a new mineral resource estimate due in February. That's good timing, isn't it?
Yeah, g'day Gareth. Happy New Year to yourself as well. Hey, these are great results. A little bit of history on this one. We haven't been drilling the project. These are actually from, we've been doing a big desktop review and a lot of review of some core left in the Tasmanian government's core library from the previous owners. And we actually identified some holes from the 1980s which hadn't previously been assayed. So what we did is we've put them through the assays, and obviously we're now announcing the results. So from about 125 metres, this hole was not assayed. When our guys got down there, they clearly saw visual tungsten and other minerals sitting in this hole. So we went and got them assayed, and obviously we're now announcing those results. So we've got a lot of tungsten in the form of wolframite, up to 2% in a couple of intercepts. There's a number of other intercepts at about 1%, and then we've got a bunch of intercepts closer to what the mineral resource estimate for the tungsten on the project is, sitting around that 0.3% wolframite, which is still a fantastic grade for global tungsten projects. As we announced from our 2024 program, this tungsten also contains a whole bunch of other minerals, including rubidium, which we've announced in this as well as molybdenum, fluorite, and a number of others. So for us, what we've announced today is some assays with significant tungsten and rubidium. But very interesting for us is this actually sits off to the side from the historic mineral resource estimate wireframe. So I can actually take you through and show you how that sits.
Yes, please do. I've got my, I would say, Joe, I've got my radio set permanently to the 1980s, so it's always good to go back to the 80s and have a look at what's happening. Let's have a look at this hole.
So let me reorient everyone for what we're looking at. So we're looking pretty much west at the Cleveland, the old Cleveland tin mine, and this mine did operate till 1986. The green areas there is the old underground working. So that's a decline in a number of the actual working stopes and working levels of the mine. At the bottom of the old mine, as you can see, this purple blob, that's where we have our nearly 4 million tonnes of inferred mineral resource estimate. So that is tungsten at about 0.3%, around about 0.3% average grade sitting in that. What we've been doing is re-assaying all these historic holes, as well as a couple of the extra holes which we've drilled subsequent to owning it. And the hole that's extra fat, you see, I'll just highlight that with my cursor here, is the hole we've announced today. So as you see, it's completely to the side of the previous mineral resource estimate, as well as a lot of these other holes which are not contained in that mineral resource estimate. So I guess the takeaway points from today, Gareth, are one, the results we're announcing today sit at the bottom of this historic hole, new information, and now out there in the market. And then I guess where we're going, and we've reconfirmed that in this announcement, is during February, we're targeting to release a new mineral resource estimate, which we're hoping will redefine the tungsten potential of the project.
Now, certainly, tungsten is pricing very well at the moment. So, any sort of upgrade in a tungsten resource has got to be good news for shareholders. I think the other thing that's worth noting that's in your release today is that the cut-off grade may be lower because the ore sorting techniques that you're using have put some very strong numbers back. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing that's been proven up in the industry over the last 5 or 10 years is ore sorting works really well on both tungsten and tin. And just before we move off that, Gareth, this is still a tin project as well. So between the purple shape you can see in front of us right now and further up in the mine, that's a tin mine. So it is the Cleveland tin mine. We're still a tin company. Tungsten just an additional story. But getting back to the tungsten, we released some results to the market in November last year, really encouraging. Basically, through very simple XRT ore sorting technology, we can upgrade basically the average resource grade in this blob here, which will be updated. That's about 0.25 to 0.3% tungsten. We upgraded that up to close to 1%. So that would be 1% tungsten entering the rest of your mineral processing plant, which obviously provides significant economic benefits to your ultimate processing costs. So for us, that's really exciting. And because of that ore sorting, we're able to drop both the combination of the ore sorting and the tungsten price just going up very, very quickly at the moment. We're able to reassess the potential economics of the resource, therefore drop the lower bound of that cut-off grade.
If we could just we'll shift gears for a second away from geology to, I suppose, accounting. Capital markets for small cap resources companies have been tight the past couple of years, Joe, as you well know. But Elementos will be closing January with around 12 million in the bank. That must set 2026 up for a big year ahead.
So for Elementos, it was a really successful end to 2025, and we're very well set for 2026, as you say. We just had a general meeting the other day, which had approved the final contribution to the capital raise we did at the end of last year. That was from our major supporter, Metals X, who will go back to being just under 20% shareholder of the company. They're Australia's largest tin producer, so great to have them show us support through that capital raise. But as you said, $12 million in the bank to fund us into through 2026 into 2027 really allows the company to focus on delivering the milestones for our shareholders. Obviously, the company and a huge 2025 and the appreciation in our share price throughout 2025 presented the opportunity to do that capital raise with great support, and that was on the back of a very successful definitive feasibility study for our Oropesa tin project in Spain, submitting our primary permits, securing an option over a smelter. So basically the combination of an improving equity markets, the tin price being very, very strong, and us delivering those milestones set us into a great position to get this capital raise away. And now, with $12 million in the bank, this funds us extremely well to hit a whole bunch of milestones throughout 2026, including the final permitting for the Oropesa tin project in Spain, as well as doing a lot of what we call pre-final investment decision activity. So basically everything the company needs to do to get the company ready for the final project financing, and then we can go into construction and get this project into operations.
Now, you've touched on tin prices. I suppose any conversation about Elementos has to include the historically strong tin prices that we have currently. Why have tin prices opened 2026 so high, and where do you see prices over the longer term, Joe?
I think we have to admit that there's an entire sector re-rating of commodity prices going on at the moment. Tin's not unique. The back end of last year, the precious metals, gold and silver moved. Copper, our brother from another mother, also went up. Copper and tin always trade sort of in the same cycles. And basically the world's realizing it doesn't have enough industrial metals. Unlike copper, however, tin, there are so few supply sources around the world. There's only about the tin market's only about 2% of the copper market. It's 35% less abundant. But because of that, basically through its historic volatility, we're left with basically majority of the tin, let's say about 85% of it coming from about 5 countries around the world. Those countries have challenges in maintaining their supply. They're mostly in the developed world. You've got countries like Myanmar, Democratic Republic of Congo, Bolivia, Peru, and Indonesia being major suppliers into the tin market. Over the last few years, all of them have had major supply challenges in their own right, and that continues. So China, being the major refiner of tin, like many metals, currently controls a bit over 50% of the market, and they have been struggling to produce as much tin metal into the market. So basically the market appears to be in deficit. Tin is struggling to be enough tin to meet demand, and certainly moving forward that looks to get even tougher. Then you go to the future projects. We are very fortunate to have 2 tin projects. Obviously one of them already also includes tungsten, the one in Tasmania, the Cleveland project, which again, another commodity that's gone on a crazy price run. But getting back to tin, there's probably only 7 or 8 new tin projects in the entire world in development.
So Joe, with high tin prices in Europe crying out for more tin. That's been no secret, particularly responsibly sourced tin. Your flagship Oropesa project in Spain is sitting in the box seat. How goes progress there?
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head, Gareth. Obviously, with all the trade wars and the geopolitical challenges at the moment, the tin world, like a lot of these commodities, is breaking up into sectors. Currently, there's absolutely no operating tin mines in Europe, so we will be the next major and only primary source of tin delivering into the European Union. So to support that and make sure the European Union is very well supported, we've actually got an option over a tin smelter 250 kilometres away from us. So this tin smelter historically done secondary tin. We're working with the current owners to convert that into doing primary tin. So basically we'll be able to go from mining ore on site, producing a concentrate, trucking that 250 k's up the road, and then actually producing tin ingots to sell into Europe. So it's not going to have to go via China, it's not going to have to go through any smelters in Asia, which really sets us apart and delivers into a tin environment which is actually a premium environment. Currently, the tin price, recently went to all-time highs of $54,000 a tonne. It's pulled back to about $51,000 today. But in Europe, if you deliver tin in Europe, you actually get an extra $1,000 over that reference tin price. So for us, the economics are fantastic. As I'm sure you'll recall, the Oropesa Tin Project's definitive feasibility study, which we delivered in April last year, actually used a tin price of $30,000 as a long-term average. Currently, the tin price is in the low to mid 50s, including that European tin premium of an extra $1,000. We're very, very well set in the current tin environment.
Yes, I think what I love about the Elementos story is that your vertical integration, or your journey up the value chain, is only 200 kilometres north of your mine. That's very fortuitous, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's taken us a couple of years of working with our partners there and securing the option of Iberian smelting. And we're working very closely with those guys to make the modifications required to smelt primary tin, but very well placed for a very unique vertical integration around the world.
Well, with a roaring tin price and and some great partners in Metalax and a very strong bank balance, I can't wait to see how 2026 unfolds for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a big year. Thanks, Gareth.